2 against Dylan Donegan, one of the 11 Grixis Delver players in day number 2. Number 23 and 25, respectively, on our Season 3 leaderboard. Both of them looking to go to the Players' Championship this year. Donegan was there last year, made a deep run. Andersen, well, he made a return to Magic this year, and he is doing very well for himself as these players do begin things in round number 13.
Yeah, Dylan Donegan on a bit of a hot streak today. Started the day 3-0 for Chris Andersen. He's 2-1 today. Did win a Death and Taxes mirror over Michael Derso.
Mother Rune's how Chris started things. The land he played was a Caraxes. Donegan with a Gataxian Probe. He's down to 18.
He's going to put a lot of pressure on Donegan to have that kill spell for Mother of Runes. Chris Andersen's hand is light on action if the Mother of Rune dies. It's just a Phyrexian Revoker and 4 lands. Now, granted, 2 of them are Wasteland. But Dylan at the ready with the answer.
Fork Bolt. Key. Got to get Mother of Runes off the battlefield. Wasteland will take care of the land.
So my question here will be, just how many lands were in Dylan's opener? Chris has another Wasteland coming.
Yep. There's Deathrite Shaman. That makes Wasteland a little bit worse. Plains to draw here for Andersen. Might be time to go Phyrexian Revoker to shut down Deathrite Shaman. Daze is going to slow that down.
Oof, and this is a brutal start for Chris. He's lost both the spells in his opener to 1-for-1 trades. I believe he's just sitting on a stack of lands.
Not a very good hand right now for Andersen. And Donegan knows it from that Gataxian Probe. Wasteland going to go up to Caraxes. Deathrite Shaman going to be able to remove a land, add a mana. Here's Delver's Secrets.
And so Chris may have a mana denial plan, but that's not going to work if Dylan just doesn't play lands. Dylan currently ahead on damage and on the board.
Thalia the draw here for Andersen. He'll play a Plains, and now here is Thalia. Donegan will untap and quickly draw. Delver is not flipping.
Different posturing by Chris. Could be running non-basics out, but just goes for basics. Doesn't want to get wastelanded again.
Copy a Young Pyromancer, Aether Vial to draw. Here's a Wasteland. There's a Vial.
Costs 2 due to Thalia, but that'll be okay. Chris has mana to spare right now.
Wasteland takes care of the Trop. Is Delver flipping? The answer is no. Delver been very shy this weekend.
A challenge here will be, does Dylan have any lands left? He still has the Deathrite Shaman to make mana, so that part is fine.
Yeah, sacrificing a Flooded Strand right now to search up Underground Sea, so enough lands to operate, even though Andersen has used 2 Wastelands this game.
6 total mana producing lands in Dylan's deck, 4 Wastelands. He has lost a Tropical Island and a Volcanic Island.
All right, here's a Gurmag Angler. And now another copy of Deathrite Shaman. Wow. Dylan has drawn the creature half of his deck.
I mean, and you just notice, this is all through Wastelands and Thalias. The mana denial portion of Chris's deck, completely ineffectual this game.
Ah, well, Lightning Bolt is the reveal. Oh, Dylan's making this look really easy. Remove this land, bolt that creature, attack with all my other creatures.
Yeah, you make an elemental token, and this... Yeah, this is a swing of 11.
Yeah. Like I said, making this look pretty easy right now. You know, it's a hand that I think if you're Chris, you're going to keep a very high percentage of the time. You've got a Mother Runes on 1. You've got 2 copies of Wasteland. You had a Phyrexian Revoker. But this did not line up great. Dylan really just, his draw lined up fantastic against what Chris was doing.
See, Chris, now it's just 3 planes in play. Make that 4. No board, 8 life.
There's Flicker Wisp. That'll turn around a Delver.
Turn around a Delver, sure. Though, Gurmag Angler, yeah, that's going to be lethal. I was going to say the 5 from Angler plus some Deathrite activations is more than enough to deal A tier. Even with a chump block, Chris won't be able to make it through this turn.
There's a Vial activation. Thalia. Seeing if there's any other blocks to be had here.
It's 8 damage even with 2 blockers. I believe. No, okay, it's 6. Yeah. That's sorry, the Deathrite's an attack. Oh, yeah, it's not, it still won't matter.
Chris Andersen going to concede the game, not finding what he's looking for that draw step. Dylan Donegan going to win game number 1 here over Chris Andersen. Grixis Delver up a game very quickly over Death and Taxes, as Donegan's draw certainly lined up very well against what Andersen was looking to do that game. But we will take a look now at the sideboards, and we will start with Chris Andersen and his Death and Taxes deck. He does have 2 copies of Cataclysm, 2 Aethersworn Canonist, an Elspeth Knight Errant, 2 Rest in Peace, a Manriki Gusari, a Spirit of the Labyrinth, a Grafdigger's Cage, an Enlightened Tutor, an Oblivion Ring, a Circle of Protection red, and then 2 copies of Containment Priests. Anything stand out to you here to really like to bring in?
All right. Well, we have, I mean, there aren't that many great options here for Chris. In theory, his main deck should be good here. What happened there was actually that Chris's creatures got outclassed, which I don't expect to see happen all that often in this matchup. There are things he can try to go toward, perhaps something like an Elspeth, but I wouldn't be surprised if he plays mostly his game 1 deck.
What do we see for Donegan in his Grixis Delver sideboard?
On Donegan's side, he does have 1 copy of Dread of Night. That is definitely for this matchup. Outside of that, he does have a Pithing Needle. There are plenty of things to needle in Chris's deck. But many of his other things for a different matchup. Obviously, things like Red Blasts, Cabal Therapies, none of those are much use here. Also has 1 copy of Ancient Grudge he could use if he needs to combat the equipment package from Chris.
Well, these players will shuffle up here for game number 2. Dylan Donegan, a former Invitational champion, Season 4 last year on the Open Series. That helped him qualify for the Players' Championship. Another Invitational champion who is going to the Players' Championship this year is Ali Antrazi. You see his beautiful token that he won for winning the Season 2 Invitational, and as you can see here, a couple different ways to go about getting it.
Right, so these are the limited edition Invitational tokens. For each of our 4 Invitationals a year, the winner gets their likeness on a card. That card is given away the following season to all Open Series players. Anyone who plays in one of our 5K Premier IQs, and if you can't make it to one of the Premier events, any order from StarCityGames.com of at least $5.
Ali with his 4/4 token, his son Aiden in the picture. Congratulations yet again to him for winning our Season 2 Invitational. We'll be seeing him at the Players' Championship at the Star City Game Center at the end of the year, along with Jim Davis, Kevin Jones, Brad Nelson, Jacob Wilson, and well, we got to figure out the rest of the people who are going to be going there. And it could be Dylan Donegan yet again. He did play last year in it. Made a pretty healthy run during that tournament, and I know Chris Andersen is a player, especially on social media. He's made it known that he plans on qualifying for the Players' Championship this year. He's number 25 on our Season 3 leaderboard. A lot of points this season. Only looking to climb up that thing, as we'll see him at most events for the rest of the year. I know we'll see him in Charlotte 2 weeks from now, and that Season 3 Invitational in New Jersey as well.
Well, yeah, and you look at their spots on the leaderboard, 23rd and 25th. A win would mean a lot to both of these players.
Yeah. You know, we're so focused on what a win means for Danny Jessup and Chris Van Meer and Joe Lissette, and deservedly so, but for these guys that are a little bit lower down the leaderboard, a win as far as an overall bid is concerned at the end of the year, because it's pretty unrealistic that they win the Season 3 race. Something crazy would have to happen, but they win this event, and this could be integral for them qualifying for the Players' Championship at the end of the year. And they're both in a good spot to do that right now. They're both 10-2. Well, excuse me, Chris is 10-2. Dylan is 11-1. Losses to give with only 3 rounds left. A great spot to be in. Chris is going to keep his opening in. Dylan's going to keep his as well. Game number 2 going to be underway. Andersen going to start off with Mother of Runes yet again. He's going to put Donegan right to the test. Chris is already putting it to the graveyard.
Going to be dead.
Expecting it to die, but it doesn't.
And that will change the scope of this game. See Rest in Peace in Chris's hand. That has come out of the sideboard.
Very good card in this matchup.
Helps turn off Deathrite Shamans, Gurmag Anglers. Dig Through Time.
Yep, some of these Grixis decks even play a copy or 2 of Snapcaster Mage, so Rest in Peace, certainly not bad in this matchup. The question now for Chris is, how do I want to sequence my stuff? I've got Wastelands in hand, but my opponent has a copy of Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah.
He is going to use Wasteland, however.
Yeah, he has double Wasteland and he has a Rest in Peace. Which way does he want to go after Dylan's mana first? Rest in Peace kind of is a land destruction spell as well, as it would turn off Deathrite Shaman.
There's Young Pyromancer. Swords to Plowshares.
Key Swords to Plowshares there.
Indeed.
That was a card that could have gotten out of the you know, stranglehold that Chris is assembling.
Here's a rest in peace. I like what Chris did here because if the Swords is good to go and Dylan's not dazing it, then that means that the rest in peace is likely good to go. And if Dylan does daze the Swords, that means the rest in peace is clear for takeoff. So it's a card that Chris was clearly putting a priority on as far as resolving. He got it on the battlefield, so now Deathrite Shaman has been slowed down. And as we know, in Chris's hand, he has another copy of Wasteland.
Definitely going after Dylan's mana. Remember that Rest in Peace in a lot of ways is another LD spell.
Yep.
Stops Deathrite from making any mana.
Donegan going to draw a mystery card off the Ponder.
Has a lot of black cards in hand. I think maybe his only other land is another volcanic island, though.
Whew, another Wasteland.
Jeez. Chris having drawn 3 Wastelands here.
I like getting this on the table.
All right, so it's going to be Flicker Wisp from Chris Andersen. They'll pick up his Wasteland, bring it back, and then Wasteland away the volcanic island. Nice little interaction there for Chris.
He gets to make that play again next turn if he'd like as well. And if Dylan has a Fork Bolt here, well, it's fine, but it's not the end of the world because Chris has his Mother of Runes.
Dylan, despite being under big mana constraints, is able to play here. Delver of Secrets was the play off the 1 land, but no replacement land, and that's where the danger is going to come from because, as you mentioned before, Chris has another Wasteland at the ready.
Dylan knows he's going to lose his land again. He'll draw a card. Delver not going to flip. The draw is actually Delver of Secrets. And this is how Death and Taxes wants to do things. Just wants to restrict you into the ground. You see Dylan's a little bit frustrated how many Wastelands have been used this game. And now we're shot and port. Sure, why not?
6 in the air from the Flicker Wisps. Yeah, he has him at no mana whatsoever. Dylan, 7 cards in hand, taking 6 a turn. Even if Dylan does draw a land, it's only going to be good for instants, as Chris can use the Rashad and Port during the upkeep.
There's a Flooded Strand.
Yeah, dangerous, though, because it puts Dylan to 6.
Yep. He sacrificed that land very quickly. So clearly he's got something to do with it. Let's see what it is. Dread of Night. Oh my goodness.
There, and I think there you see Dylan's frustration. He had the 1-of trump card in his hand and just couldn't get it to happen.
Well, it's here now.
This is huge.
Chris is looking at a hand of 2 Swords of Plowshares. He's going to take down the Delver, but he's going to lose his entire board.
Yeah, protection from white won't help with that problem.
And now he's got to find a different way to win the game. He was 1 turn away from basically winning this thing. Now he's got to draw a card like Stoneforge Mystic. Oh, Wasteland's not bad.
This is the 4th Wasteland. So he's got Dylan back down to 0 mana sources. And so Dylan has the trump card in play, but his only play is hitting with a 1/2.
Revoker. Not bad.
It's not a white creature. That'll play.
The question now is what you name. Now remember, Phyrexian Revoker can't name lands.
Right. I was gonna say if it was a Pithing Needle, he'd try to get one of Dylan's fetch lands.
I would. If Revoker could name lands, I would kind of play the guessing game and probably say Flooded Strand or Scalding Tarn or something. But that's off the table. Here's Cataxian Probe. Donegan going to gun on 5. Revoker just naming Deathrite Shaman. Probably the easiest name here for Chris.
And this would be the interesting thing. Does Chris Swords that Deathrite so that he can start attacking for 2? Dylan is down to, I believe, 5 after using that Cataxian Probe for free.
I'm probably Swordsing.
You just kind of feel that if Dylan starts getting lands again, you're gonna lose no matter what happens, right?
He's got a land.
Uh-oh.
He sacrificed it a Misty Rainforest.
So Dylan will stay at 5 here. Remember, Chris has drawn all his Wastelands.
Yep, he's out of them. But he does have a port on the battlefield, so he's got a land lockdown.
He's got a port. What he's got to hope here is that Dylan does not have a 1-mana way to kill Revoker.
Looks like he's leaning towards Volcanic Island. Perhaps a Lightning Bolt on the way. He's going to go with Delver.
As a 1/1, it will block and I think Dylan would be more than happy to trade it with Revoker. He doesn't have to fear Wastelands anymore, remember. Just ports.
Yep.
And you see the pressure that Dylan was under. If he had more life, he may have used Ponder instead of casting Delver there.
Dylan going to take 2. Upkeep.
Wow.
Tap your land. Bolt that. Flip. Yes. Donegan making a comeback. Andersen down to 14 now.
Gitaxian Probe, the flip and draw for Donegan. And he's thinking about using this Gitaxian Probe and going to 1.
A little too aggressive for me.
Hey, 1 isn't 0, and Chris Andersen's a white deck, so here we go.
That's a little aggressive for me.
It's Mother of Runes. It's a lethal attacker, just like every other creature.
Yeah, well, except for the Dreaded Knight that's on the battlefield, so not going to do very much. Here's an attack for 3. Andersen will draw. He'll pass.
More hits from the Insectile Aberration.
Wasteland will take care of the port.
All right, Dylan gets to have his lands back. He's down to 8.
Sarah Avenger is a pretty good draw.
That's excellent. I was going to be like, can't ask whether Insectile Aberration could go the distance. Maybe not. Here's Sarah Avenger.
Now keep in mind, the Avenger is a 2-2. It's not a 3-3. Here's a Ponder. Dylan's deck is mostly fetch lands, and he's at 1, so those are basically off of the table at this point. Yep, there's a Flooded Strand. Nice. Pass the turn back.
Yeah, there isn't life gain here. I'm not certain why he even plays it.
Another Plains, pass the turn back. Donegan will draw. Delver.
All right.
Andersen, Mother of Runes.
More white X1s.
Brainstorm is flipping that. Puts you to 5.
Okay, Dylan reassembled the Insectile Aberration. Just needs 2 more hits to get the game.
Here's Brainstorm. Yeah, Dylan gonna move that Flooded Strand way over there. Can't use that one.
Pithing Needle, among others. Another slew of uncastable cards. Has to discard for the turn, discards Deathrite Shaman.
Andersen with the Plains, pass. Donegan in for 3 more. Here's Ponder. He's happy with what he's found.
I believe there was a lightning bolt in there. Has Chris Andersen down to 2, and there you the full comeback from Dylan Donegan. Dread of Night, the one of in his board, carrying the game on its shoulders.
For a game that certainly looked like Chris Andersen was going to win, you can tell he's a little bit surprised by that result. Dylan Donegan wins this game and match. 2-0. Grixis Delver takes care of Death and Taxes after being wastelanded 4 times. Dread of Night, very timely for Dylan. He moves on to 12-1. He is now a lock for top 8 with 2 rounds to go, because 12-3 is certainly good enough to top 8 here this week, and congratulations to him on a very impressive tournament. He even said on social media, on Twitter and on Facebook a little bit earlier today, so glad we're playing Legacy again. He feels very comfortable in this matchup and in this format.
And so for Chris Andersen,